Hello everyone and welcome to a Christmas edition of RiesKitchen. Today we're making Christmas cake or fruit cake. So delicious. There's a lot of ingredients but it really is quite simple to make. So let's get straight into it, shall we? So today we have sultanas, raisins and currants, mixed peel, slivered almonds, glacé cherries, a little bit of brandy, self-raising flour and plain flour, nutmeg, ground ginger, brown sugar, butter, couple of eggs, vanilla and almond essence, lemon for zest, almonds to decorate, and a little bit of my shortening mix to grease the tin. Now our first step is prepping the fruit, and it's really important that we get them roughly all the same size because otherwise you'll end up with the heavier fruit floating to the bottom and you won't have an even mix of your different fruits throughout the cake. So with our glacé cherries, which are much bigger than our sultanas and currants, I'm just going to use my scissors to cut them roughly into fours. And I'll do the same with the raisins. So our next step is to add all of our fruits into that bowl. And such a lovely colour. Fruit peel, of course you cannot use fruit peel if you don't want to, but it really needs it. And then pour in our brandy. Give that a good stir. Now ideally we want this to seep for at least an hour. Overnight is better, and if it gets a bit dry then you can always just add a little bit more brandy. As with all baking, one of the most important things is the equipment that you're going to use, the tin. So this is a straight-sided tin, which is important. You don't want one that has sides coming in and out, and it's square, which makes it easy to line and move the cake in and out of. This one's 15 centimetres. And this will turn out a 1 kilo cake that we're making today. So we need to grease it and line it. Now I've got some greaseproof paper, and you need to make sure that you've got about 5 centimetres above the tin and then all the sides of the tin and 5 centimetres more. That's how long your piece of paper is. Now the details for the shortening mix are on my blog. But now what I want to do is just grease the tin, and you want to be very generous with your shortening, making sure that you do the sides well and get right into the corners. So for our greased tin, we now line it with our greaseproof paper. Just find the middle, makes it easy to work out how to put it down. And then just using your fingers, just gently push it in to make sure that you've got it into the corners. Take the time not to have wrinkles because this will impact on the side, what your cake looks like when it comes out of the tin. And now with your second piece, we just do the other sides so that all 4 sides have a paper lining. Now the next stage in prepping our tin seems really odd, but let me assure you it works. So what we need now is 2 pieces of brown paper or newspaper, and we're going to wrap our tin in it. And the reason we do this is our cake is going to be in the oven for a long time, and the corners can get really cooked first and get really dry. So this is helping to spread the heat around. So I pop my cake tin in the middle, and I'm literally going to fold it as if I'm wrapping a birthday present. And I bring this one up. And I do the same on this side. Hold it up and hold that end up. And now with just some kitchen string, I'm going to tie it to hold it together. Now to cream our butter and sugar. It's always trickier creaming brown sugar just because it's harder to tell when it's done, but remember, you know that it's ready when you can't feel the grains of the sugar when you take a little bit and rub it between your finger and thumb. So we'll just start that off slowly. Now that looks like it's close to ready. It's a much paler colour, so just getting a little bit and rubbing it through my fingers, it's lovely and smooth. So that is ready. So now we can add our eggs, one at a time, and beating well in between each one. So now we're going to mix our flours and spices together. ginger. And of course you can use ground nutmeg, but I prefer to do it fresh. Much better flavour, and it smells just awesome. Just give those a bit of a mix through. So now I'm just going to zest our lemon. Don't need a lot, but it really makes a difference and makes all the flavours just pop. So now we can add into our machine our essences and flour. Just going to do some of the flour mix and then add some more. Help stop it all just spraying everywhere. So now to put the two together. Now it is a stiff mix. That's exactly what we're expecting. Now you know you've done something right with your Christmas cake when you can stand your wooden spoon up inside it. That's a good stiff mix. So now we're going to pop that into our prepared tin as carefully as we can. Now don't be tempted to scrape all of that mixture off and putting it on the top. What you'll end up doing is having a layer that's got no fruit in it. So because it's such a thick mix, we need to make sure that it spreads out across our tin and doesn't get air pockets. So I'm literally going to lift the tin and bang it on my bench a couple of times. Flatten it out again just a little bit, making sure it's right up into the corners. And then once I've done that, now's the time to decorate it, and I like to use almonds. So now we pop this into the oven at 150 degrees centigrade fan forced for 2 hours. Now, as we all know, for gluten-free we need to leave it in the tin, doubly so for this, at least overnight before you take your Christmas cake out. All the details are in the link here, but as always, the best bit's in the eating. That is so moist, and the flavours of Christmas just pop right through. So from all of us here at RiesKitchen, Miles and I especially, wishing you and your family a very Merry Christmas and a safe and happy New Year. Ciao everyone.